Okay, moms, let's get real tonight. Have you ever spent so much time making a balanced meal for your toddler only to hear, ew, what's that? Or I just want mac and cheese and nuggets before they even touch it? Drop a yes in the comments for me if you've ever had your toddler totally reject dinner with quite the dramatic flair, I'm sure, before even trying it. Because you're not alone. That happens often. And no, it doesn't mean that you're failing as a parent. This is one of the most common mealtime challenges I hear from moms. So, with that, welcome to Toddler Tip Tuesday Live. I'm Jess, and today we're going to be talking all about how to show your toddler to eat with more of a playful, kind of pressure-free approach that will make them want to explore new foods, but with less drama and more curiosity. So, let's first talk about why it happens. So, most of the time, it's not about being stubborn or picky. Toddlers are often mislabeled that way. It's actually about how your toddler experiences new things. So you might be dealing with a cautious eater, meaning that they need repeated exposures to kind of feel safe with a new food, even if they liked it last week. You could also be dealing with more of a distracted or busy type eater, where sitting still through a meal is tough when there's a whole world of possibility for them to explore that's not at the table with them. And these are just parts of your toddler's eating personality. And those are just two different types of personalities. There's actually a lot of different personalities. And once you know it, you can kind of respond in a way that supports them and kind of helps them through with a sense of curiosity instead of power struggles where you're going back and forth. So pop in the chat if that describes your toddler. If you have a toddler who you think maybe they're not so picky, it's maybe a different part of the personality coming into place. And if you think that might be your toddler, then I have a quiz you can actually take that will help you to kind of figure out their personality and get some customized, personalized some suggestions to kind of try with them. So if you want to do that, you would go to my website, www.raisingmyteenagetoddler.com/quiz, and you'll see the page there to explain a little bit more about the quiz and the different eating personalities, and be able to then take the quiz from there. But even if you don't do that, you still know getting your toddler to eat some of these foods is challenging. Personality, if you figure out their personality or not. So if you want to kind of try to introduce it to them, we are tempted to, and I've done it myself, kind of fall into that, just take one bite, just take one bite. But we need to retire the just one bite strategy. It doesn't work, especially with the kids who are a little bit more challenging and they kind of dig their heels in. It's kind of outdated to begin with. It was something that I know I'm in my mid-40s and dating myself maybe, but something that my parents used and it didn't work. And it just adds pressure and it often leads to that battle where you're going back and forth, back and forth. So instead, what we like to do is try joining the One Try Tribe. It can be a mouthful, but One Try Tribe. So what it is a low-pressure, sensory-based method where toddlers are invited to explore a new food, but there's no actual eating required, which might have you kind of thinking like, wait, what? But I promise you, it works. So the first thing that you can offer for them to do is, if they're refusing to try it, that's okay, ask them if they'll smell it. So maybe if they just, I always go to broccoli. That actually ends up being one of my daughter's favorite vegetables, but before it was. Just have her smell it. So you could have your toddler smell it. What does it smell like? If you get past the smelling stage or they're not willing to smell it, either way, you can try to have them lick it, just kind of putting it to their mouth. If they're not ready for that, or if they're willing to do that, you could go either way. You can do these in any order. You can have them touch it. Sometimes even just having them touch a new food and feel it and squish it and do different things to it can help. Another thing you can do is to kind of put a little bit of fun for it. Oh, guess what it might taste like? Or compare it to something silly for them. Like, oh my goodness, this beet looks like a dragon tongue or something like that. To kind of take away from that strangeness for them and kind of put a fun spin on it. So quick question for you if you're joining us here live. So what's the weirdest or funniest way that your toddler has ever tried a new food? If anybody's willing to share, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But jumping back into our method, once you try those 4 strategies over a period of time, it does start to work. You might have to go through all the different ways of letting them explore with it and with all their different senses before they're willing to bite it. It depends on your toddler. And again, I see this all the time about every method. There is no strategy or method that will work 100% of the time for 100% of kids. It's just not a reality. It's not possible. But you should, after you're trying the different ways with the different senses over time, get them to at least be more comfortable with it and eventually willing to try it, at least one bite in their mouth. Now, the reason why this whole method works is because it honors the toddler's needs, right? Our need is we feel like we need to make them eat it, when in reality, our job isn't to force them to eat. It's to expose them and introduce them to new foods. It's their job to eat. What they need is their autonomy. Toddlers love to be independent. They are curious little creatures, they sure are. So this method kind of plays into that natural curiosity, and it gives your toddler a sense of control, which is so important. If they feel like they're in control, well, really you're in control, but if they feel like they're more likely to buy into whatever it is you're trying to get them to do. And this relates to everything, not just mealtimes and food, but specifically to food with introducing new foods. They want to feel like they are in control. It also reduces pressure. If you can reduce the pressure, they're more likely to try it. It encourages exploration. We know toddlers love to explore, so if they can do something else with their food besides eat it, kind of starts to break that wall down that they feel towards the food. And it builds confidence. The more exposure you can get, the better off. Research, it's kind of depends which body of research you go with. Some say around 10 exposures, some go up to 20. I like to stick with the 8 to 15 exposures. So if you can get your toddler to interact with the food in some way, shape, or form 8 to 15 times and get those repeated exposures, usually they will come around at that point and at least try it. They still may not like it, and you still might have to have them try it multiple times before they like it. That's a possibility too. But aim for those 8 to 15 times with the different sensory strategies. And remember, this isn't a miracle bite. It's not going to all of a sudden make them love broccoli. That might take time. But it's about building a positive relationship with food over time through those exposures, so that they're not every single time you put it in front of them digging their heels in and refusing. If you let them explore with their senses, they will become familiar with it. They'll become more comfortable with it and more likely to eat it and try it. So we're going to break this down just a little bit, but one thing you want to do is, so your first step is make sure it's not the only thing on their plate. So pair it with something that they already know, a safe food, one of their favorites. It could be, if they do like macaroni and cheese, put the vegetable next to the macaroni and cheese, whatever it might be. You could put like a single zucchini slice next to the pasta that's in the that you're using your macaroni and cheese. Your second step then would be to use the playful phrases like some of the ones we mentioned, but you can even just say to them like, oh, I want to join the one try tribe today. Even just saying that to them kind of gets their buy-in a little bit, right? Because it's just how toddlers are. And you can even go a step further and be like, oh my goodness, should we push it? Should we poke it? Are we going to squish it? Oh, let's smell it. Oh, let's stab it with our fork and see if we can get it close to our lips. Oh my goodness, do you smell it? And kind of just keep playing with their senses that way. Your third step will be to make sure that you keep the portions teeny tiny when you're first introducing it. I mean, we're talking like blueberry size for some of these kiddos. The more on their plate, the more overwhelmed they are to begin with, but especially if it's a food that they're kind of having an aversion to, they're nervous around, they're scared of, haven't seen before. Even if they have seen it, they still might be overwhelmed by it. So very, very small portion to start. And then your fourth step is just going to be to praise them no matter what. Praise them for trying, not the taste. Praise them for coming near to it. Praise them for letting them keep it on their plate. Some kids won't even want it on their plate. We went through a period with our daughter, I would say probably when she was about around 18 months, and it lasted until she was a little after 2. It took a while to break it down, but she really dug her heels in about not having things on her plate that she wasn't going to eat and didn't want. And we had to really like work with her to get her to keep things on her plate. So if similar situation, or if they're just keeping a food they don't want on their plate, like, wow, you were so brave to keep that on your plate tonight. Or if they're willing to, let's say they did lick it. Oh my goodness, you were so brave as part of the One Try Tribe tonight. You gave it one try and licked it. I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness, you smelled this one time. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe how it smelled. Wasn't that strange? It was like a weird earthy smell. Whatever it might be, you're praising it and telling them what an awesome job they did. And then your last step is going to be to kind of track those wins together. You want to create some type of, whether it's a simple rewards chart, sticker chart, something like that, and have it handy and go over it with them, explain their expectations to them before you even start using it, and then set a goal with them. Make sure that they understand the goal, but maybe after 5 stickers or 10 stickers, you kind of have to play it by ear depending on your child, but celebrate whatever it is. Like, you're going to read one of their favorite book with them. They get to have a dance party. You can make them like a special badge, like they're the Master Food Explorer badge, something like that, just to kind of get their buy-in. And the one thing you definitely don't want to do, though, is attach other food as the reward, just because the research shows that when you do that, kids tend to put a high value on those foods, and then they continue to want those foods. There's a lot more to it than that. I'm oversimplifying it for right now, but you definitely don't want to attach a reward to food, especially like desserts and sugary foods like that. So keep it like a simple sticker chart, or like I said, reading a book, a special dance party, something like that they're earning. Now, every week I do, as I say, I send this out to my email list, and I also, the blog post that originates with this live, and then I also make posts about it on social media, and I always get some questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I will pull up my comments right now for us. But what I'm going to do is go over some of the questions that I got back from DMs and from email subscribers. So I'll start there, and if I see any other questions in the comments, I will try to answer those before we get to our time, because I know it's late on the East Coast here. It is already almost 8:15, so we try to keep it 15-20 minutes. But all right, let me stop talking and get to this. So first question I got was, what if, hold on. Okay, so what if they don't even want to touch it? That's okay. So go with the other senses. Go with smelling. If they don't want to touch it, they're probably not going to want to lick it. That's okay. But you can go with, maybe next time we'll touch it. Let's just smell it for today. Or it could be as simple as keeping it on their plate for today. Whatever little thing they're willing to do. It could even be if they're willing to just poke it with their silverware. Praise them for that. That's okay. And then work up to touching it. Once they become more familiar in that 8 to 15 exposure range, they're probably going to be a lot more likely to touch it. And remember, just keep offering it without the pressure. It's the best thing you can do, is just keep offering it without the pressure. And you can actually try offering it in different ways and styles, prepare different ways too. That might help. Another question I had was, sorry, I always have to look at my notes. Okay, so what if they gag or spit it out when they try it? That is sensory feedback, mamas. That is normal. That's natural. I think we, even as adults, not to be disgusting, but there's been times where maybe you've bitten into something. I know I've done it, and it has not tasted good at all, or there was something in it, and you're like trying to get that napkin, right, to get rid of it. They're the same way, so we have to respect those boundaries. So if they spit it out, that's okay. That's them giving you, they don't like it, and that was their body's sensory feedback. So you need to stay calm. You need to still praise them for trying it, and just remember, no pressure, don't force it. Just say, that's okay. No worries. And then maybe the next time, try to prepare it in a different way. Like if you were doing like carrots instead of, if they didn't like raw carrots, maybe try cooked, or vice versa. So maybe you can try something with a dipping sauce. Kids love condiments. So something like that, to try to get past that sensory feedback their body had if they really didn't like it. But again, don't worry about it. Your job is to expose them to foods, not to force them to eat it. So if they didn't like it, that's okay. Another question I had was, okay, so how often to try? So I get this a lot, and that's why I said, then the research, it fluctuates, but what I try to aim for is 8 to 15, since a lot of the research is in that 10 range, 10 to 15, and there's a lot of research that's in that 10 to 20 range, so I try to go with the 8 to 15 before I completely, I'm like, all right, this didn't work. And that's okay, because we don't like every single food as adults. So that it's a good possibility that our kids are not going to like every single food, and that's okay. But just try to expose to them. It doesn't even have to be every day. It could be every couple of days. Just kind of keep track of it, but keep it kind of casual and keep it fun. Another question I had written down was, is it okay to reward them? So yes, that's what we're talking about with the sticker chart. But again, skip food rewards. Don't make their incentive or reward a food. Skip that. You don't want to put that, dangle that carrot over their heads. Do playful incentives. Do things like I said, like stickers. It could be reading a book we talked about. It could be a special dance party. It could be special snuggle time. My daughter loves mommy sleepovers, we call them, which like so we like set up a tent with air mattresses and we like sleep downstairs and watch TV for like a little bit, and then we turn it off and we go to sleep. And she calls it a mommy sleepover. So I get no sleep. She's not the easiest person to sleep next to on her mattress, but it could be whatever you want for your reward. Just keep it simple, something that they want, and stay away from food rewards. And that's all the questions I have, and we are at that time, just to make sure I didn't miss any. All right. Okay, so last thing, just remember, you're not trying to raise a mini gourmet chef who will love every single food and prepare every single food eat every single food you prepare overnight. Not going to happen. That's okay. What you're doing is you're trying to build food confidence, and you're trying to, over time and with a lot of patience, get them exposed to and trying different foods, and just make sure you give them and yourself a whole lot of grace. It is a long journey with food and with introducing foods, and you want to make sure that it stays a positive experience for you and for them and for your whole family. So try the one try method this week. And if you do, tag me in your stories and let me know, or shoot me a DM or email. I would love to hear all about it and see what your little food explorers are doing. And if you want more tailored strategies for your child's eating personality, remember you can always take that quiz. I will drop it in the comments when I do post this. But again, it's www.raisingmyteenagetoddler.com/quiz. And you'll be able to take the quiz and get some more information. But thank you again for joining me for this week's Toddler Tip Tuesday. I will see you next week, same time, same place, and with more talk, tips, and parenting suggestions, and maybe some guidance and help, or just to let you know I'm in it with you without losing our minds. Have a great week. Bye.